Speaking of bringing the administration of justice into disrepute, what they're contemplating doing in New York is one of the gravest threats to the rule of law in America, certainly in my lifetime and maybe in 100 years. I am talking about an extremist prosecutor in New York, elected with less than 100,000 votes, a Soros candidate. Soros had the Attorney General project and the Secretary of State project, which is just what it sounds like. You can try and win the presidency, and, it's very, very important. The major parties spend $1 billion each on that campaign. $1 billion with a B. And then all the super PACs and all the free labor involved. It is a multi-billion-dollar contest. And, of course, it is the biggest prize of all, the presidency. But if you had $1 million and you wanted to make a difference, you would probably look to get an attorney general in various states or districts. District attorney, U.S. attorney. I don't know who's appointed and who's elected. I don't understand the American system well enough, but some of them are elected. And the secretaries of state, same thing. They control the elections. The Secretary of State is what they call the foreign minister of the United States. The federal Secretary of State is the foreign minister. But the Secretary of State in each individual state, one of their most important duties is running the elections. And so George Soros is smarter than your average bear, and he's certainly richer. And so while he does spend tens, maybe hundreds of millions of dollars every election season on the presidency and Congress and the Senate, he is also savvy enough to spend tens of millions of dollars across America putting in radical attorneys general in important states. And one of them has decided that he is going to try and cobble together some sort of case against Donald Trump that no one has thought of before and that has been examined before by the Biden campaign, by every Democrat lawyer, every schemer, scammer. They all, he's going to jail over Stormy Daniels. He's going to jail over Russiagate. The walls are closing in. It's about his taxes. Every single one of those scams and schemes that the media thought, for sure, we got him now. Every one of them failed, but it certainly managed to denormalize Trump and create a feeling of panic and chaos during his administration. He's been out of office now for more than 2 years. And some extremist prosecutor has said, I am going to charge, arrest, handcuff, jail, prosecute Trump for that same Stormy Daniels thing. Now, the Stormy Daniels, you'll remember, was a stripper who claims Donald Trump had sex with her. Could be. Donald Trump apparently paid her about $130,000 to get her to sign a non-disclosure agreement, which suggests, I acknowledge, where there's smoke, there's fire. But then Donald Trump later fought with her in court, won, I think, $300,000, and Stormy Daniels' lawyer, Michael Avenatti, if I recall his name, is in prison. Here, let me read this story. What paper is this from here? Scroll up to the top. BBC, why not? How the Trump-Stormy Daniels saga unfolded. Let's read a little bit. President Donald Trump has been invited to testify over allegations that the money... Is this a recent story? Okay, got it. So let's go to the... So, like I say, this has all been aired before. And I'll tell you how it... Get me the latest news. I think you showed it there before. So, in the end, this turned into a big nothing. Michael Avenatti, Stormy Daniels' lawyer, himself is in jail. Stormy Daniels, I think, had to pay Trump $300,000 So it wasn't, oh my God, the walls are closed. How many times did you hear that the walls are closing? Yeah, let me read this political story here, the one you have there. Yeah, just scroll up to the top. I'll read a bit here just to make sure everyone's up to speed. Start with the headline. I'll just read the headline there. Trump indictment could land as early as Monday, that's today, sending law enforcement scrambling. A grand jury is expected to charge Trump late Monday or Wednesday, according to 3 people involved in the deliberations. Okay, scroll down just a little bit. New York, law enforcement officials are meeting at NYPD headquarters in Lower Manhattan on Monday afternoon to plan for a possible indictment of former President Donald Trump on charges stemming from payments to a porn star. A person involved in the planning told Politico. An indictment by a grand jury is expected late Monday or Wednesday, according to people involved in deliberations. We'll be discussing how we bring Trump in, the person involved in the planning said, adding, no decisions have been made yet. The meeting will include members of the NYPD, the U.S. Secret Service, court officers, and officials from Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg's office. The person said Bragg convened the grand jury investigating the payments. Okay, just to be crystal clear, these payments have been investigated. They have been aired. They have been litigated. And Trump actually won those fights. But they weren't up against Alvin Bragg's before. He's that Soros district attorney. And that's the thing. There's certain jurisdictions in America that are so deep blue, so partisan Democrat, that conservatives and Republicans have no chance in a court. There's just no fair trial. So that's why the January 6th, I'm not even going to call it a riot, the great meandering through Congress, led by police who opened doors, unlocked doors. Those folks have been in prison for 2 years, some of them in solitary, because you've just got judges and juries in deep blue, deep Democrat districts that you're never going to get a fair trial. They're so extremely, rabidly partisan. Same thing, I think, with Manhattan. You've got a city that is 90% Democrat. Is that how New York goes? Not, at least 80% Democrat, probably 90%. And you've got a radical Soros district attorney. And even though he's just picking over the remains of litigation that was already resolved in Trump's favor years ago, well, so what? He can get a grand jury together and he is going to handcuff and jail Donald Trump. And it sounds like, you're right. How would that happen? Well, he's got his Secret Service police. So you got the NYPD. Are they going to arrest Trump? And what's the Secret Service going to do? So they got to figure that out. Here, let me read a little bit more of that political story, if you don't mind. A court spokesperson said there's nothing to report since no charges have been filed. Well, that doesn't stop the Democrats from leaking. Spokespeople for the Secret Service and District Attorney's Office did not immediately respond to requests for comment. Oh, sure they did. They just provided it off the record. The NYPD state of readiness remains constant at all times for all contingencies, an NYPD spokesperson said. Our communications and coordination with our partners in government and law enforcement are fundamental tenets of the commitment to public safety. That doesn't say anything, does it? Attorney Robert J. Costello, who once advised former Trump lawyer Michael D. Cohen, is scheduled to testify before the grand jury Monday afternoon. Cohen has said he will be a rebuttal witness to Costello, who may question Cohen's credibility. Oh, you think? Cohen himself is a confessed, convicted liar, and I think he's a perjurer. He served time in jail, and he's the star witness against Trump. But of course he is. Just like Michael Avenatti was the star who was, I don't know if you remember this Avenatti fellow. He certainly did the circuit. CNN had him on all the time. He even did the CBC. He was on The View. They all said he was going to run for president for the Democrats and be the Trump killer. He is rotting in jail for trying to shake down, I think it was Nike, trying to shake down Nike. It wasn't even Trump that put Avenatti in prison. It was Avenatti's own misconduct. Yeah, put this on the page here. Yeah, perfect. Good find. Thank you. Lawyer Michael Avenatti sentenced to 14 years in federal prison for stealing millions of dollars from clients and tax fraud. So I think he actually stole from Stormy Daniels as well. And I think it was the Nike shakedown that got him in trouble. Anyways, so, and Michael Cohen, I don't remember what he was sentenced for, but this is who they're using to cobble together their case against Trump. So Hunter Biden, all the evidence is released from his laptop. Biden has never denied that that is Hunter Biden's laptop. The drug use, the prostitutes, the payoffs, the payments, the millions of dollars in contracts for a no-show job, billions of dollars in other funds. I mean, here's Joe Biden denying $1 million in payments to a family from a Hunter Biden associate, even though bank records show the payment was made. $1 million payment to a family member. I forget what the name. That's not true, Biden said, disputing financial records that show Hunter, Jim, and Haley Biden received lucrative payments from one of Hunter's business associates. So the bank records show it. All Biden has to say is, that's not true. And, okay, no problem. Maybe we can rustle up something about Donald Trump and Stormy Daniels. Yeah, that's the ticket. But I think it's going to happen. The Trump derangement syndrome is real. Trump still remains the leading candidate in the Republican presidential primary. I think Nikki Haley's the only one who's declared officially yet. I think Mike Pence is thinking of throwing his hat in the ring. I think Mike Pompeo is too. And of course, Ron DeSantis is on a book tour right now. I think it's pretty clear he's going to run. And most straw polls put him in second place, but Trump is the one to beat. And of course, the media party is trying to demonize DeSantis because they see he's actually got the policies of Trump, but he has fewer of the, he's less colorful. Now that's a plus and a minus. Trump could take all the oxygen in a room. Trump was a master of the quip and the witticism and the insult and the nickname. And he was just amazing that way. And the establishment didn't know what to do about him, and they couldn't beat him until they invented mail-in ballots. But that's not enough. They're going to jail. Here's the problem. It's just like the Russia Mueller inquiry. It's just like all the other walls closing. I don't know if you can even find that montage. Maybe go on Twitter and type in Trump walls closing in, just in the search bar. There's so many montages of, and just click on video. Yeah, perfect. Yeah, click that one. Yeah, sure. Just choose any of them. Just these. How many times he was done? Yeah, pump up the volume.
For President Trump today was a turning point.
A turning point.
We're at a turning point here.
The beginning of the end for the Trump presidency.
The beginning of the end.
And breaking news.
We have another bombshell.
Mike Pence might have to assume the office of the presidency.
The call for impeachment.
Rumblings of the word impeachment.
Breaking news.
Another bombshell out of the White House.
I believe this is the beginning of the end.
I do too.
It's really the beginning of the end.
The beginning of the end.
He may be feeling the walls closing in on him.
All the walls closing in on him.
The walls closing in on him.
Breaking news, a new bombshell.
One astrologer says this means the beginning of the end for President Donald Trump.
The beginning of the end of the Trump presidency.
Trump will resign.
Trump is going to resign.
Is this the tipping point? I know we've said it over and over.
You think this is a tipping point?
And over and over.
This is a tipping point.
And over and over.
Breaking news, President Trump off the rails.
It was the beginning of the end today.
The beginning of the end.
It reminds me a lot of the last days of Nixon.
Breaking news tonight, new bombshell.
This is the beginning of the end. The beginning of the end.
The walls are closing in.
The walls closing in.
The walls closing in.
Breaking overnight bombshell.
This is a very dramatic day, and I think it might be near a tipping point. Do you think this is a tipping point?
This is unbelievable. This is remarkable. Have you ever seen anything like this?
His presidency is crippled.
December 1st, 2017, you can mark it down. This is the day that everything changed.
We begin with the bombshell.
The beginning of the end?
The beginning of the end.
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 It goes on, but maybe you get the point. Every huffing and puffing, and the media bought every single bit of it. And it all amounted to nothing. Russiagate amounted to nothing. They spent, I don't know, $100 million investigating it. Nothing. Every so-called scandal. They finally got his tax returns, which I think is outrageous. And there's nothing in there. There was nothing there. Have you heard the scandal of Donald Trump's tax returns? No, because they were finally revealed against his wishes. Imagine that violation of privacy. And there was nothing there. Oh, we found secrets at Mar-a-Lago. There was nothing there. And those same documents were found in Hunter Biden's garage. Sorry, in Joe Biden's garage. The difference this time is that they've got an extremist DA who is willing to put together a pack of partisan Democrats to actually order the arrest of Trump. And when that happens, that will divide America in a way I don't think it's ever been divided, or perhaps since Watergate. Except for there really were crimes committed in Watergate. And by the way, the payments, the Stormy Daniels thing, which, like I say, has been litigated already, and Trump won all that litigation, it's got nothing to do with the presidency. It predates the presidency. This is a targeting and a punishment of him. Just like when they raided Mar-a-Lago, never before had the FBI raided the compound or the house of a former president. If they arrest him, if they handcuff him, that will divide America in a way that hasn't happened since Nixon in the Vietnam War. That will confirm for half of America that the system is rigged, that you can't trust the system, you can't trust a cop, you can't trust the prosecutors, you can't trust the courts, you can't trust the media, you can't trust the establishment. It's all a stitch-up. This is so obviously an inside job, so obviously baseless. Seriously, Stormy Daniels, that's all you got. That's what you got. That's what you got for an arrest. That's what you got. Nothing for Hunter Biden, nothing for Joe Biden. Of course not. But some Stormy Daniels business that's already been litigated in the court of public opinion and the court of law. You're going to arrest, handcuff the president for that.
That's a clip from something we call Rebel News Daily. It's our daily live stream hosted by my friend David Menzies, but the show also includes a rotating cast of hosts and special guests, including me. It's a great way for us to talk about the news of the day as the news is happening in an unscripted fashion, and it's an awesome way for you to interact with us as well. We stream every weekday, 1 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Mountain, wherever you find Rebel News. See you there.